Let's go to the divisional round matchups, Ike. And we'll start with the first Saturday game. Bengals, Titans, Jackpot Joe, Ryan Tannehill, and our guy, Derrick Henry, is due back for the Tennessee Titans. He looks good, too, in the practice footage that I've seen. You know what? The craziest stat I found, though, Ike, Derrick Henry still finished 9th in the NFL in total rushing, and he only played in 8 games this season. The Titans get back their star running back. He's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I don't think they need to rush him back just to play, though. You know, they already got formed a little young stud at the running back position as well. You can just kind of give Derrick Henry, put him on the pitch count. So say, just get him a little feel, see how he feels totally. I wouldn't go all out right now if I'm the Tennessee Titans with Derrick Henry, even though I know he's been practicing for a couple of weeks and they say he's been looking good. Right now, between practice and actually game time, man, I wouldn't want to do that to him. But then again, you look at Cam Akers and company and see what the LA Rams has been doing. Him coming from an Achilles to come back during the season and see how he ran a couple of days ago in the playoff game. But I get it. But that's what I would do if I was a head coach. I would put Derrick Henry under a pitch count because I know number 7 Foreman has been running the ball as well. But I'm not going to bet against Jackpot Joe. That's something I'm not going to do. And this one thing we really haven't been talking about. We haven't been talking about the Cincinnati Bengals defense. When it's time for them to lock up and shut some stuff down, that's exactly what they do. It's hard to beat and keep a Patrick Mahomes and company from blowing up and running up the scoreboard. That's exactly what they did when it needed to stop. When it needed to stop, they got to stop for the Cincinnati Bengals. But just the relationship between Jackpot Joey and Jamar Chase and the T. Higgins and the Tyler Boyd and the offensive line and Joe Mixon, man, right now at this point in time, they're my underdogs, the Cincinnati Bengals, all because of Jackpot Joey.
I love it, Ike. And one of the keys to the game is going to be this, is can that Titans secondary slow down Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Boyd, Higgins, and company in the passing game? Titans ranked 25th in passing defense, allowing about 245 yards per game through the air. Also, Joe Burrow sacked 51 times this season. He's as tough as they come, but can the Titans get an effective pass rush against him? That's really my key to this game. Going back to your point about Deonta Foreman as well, 4.3 yards per carry on the ground, Ike. So he's done a great job filling in for Derrick Henry. No one's going to fill the void in the big shoes that King Henry has, but he's done a nice job for the Titans this season. I'm going with the Titans, Ike, and here's why. Titans under Mike Vrabel in 4 years as a head coach in Tennessee, they've not only gone 4-0 off a bye, they've won those 4 games by more than 20 points per game. And I think that the Titans are getting healthy at the right time. Even with Derrick Henry on a limited pitch count, Julio Jones is healthy. A.J. Brown is due to play. Henry only played 8 games this season. Jones played 9. Brown played 12. And the reason why I think Mike Vrabel deserves Coach of the Year is he's filled in, despite those star players offensively not playing on the field all that much. And to piggyback off this as well, one last point. The Bengals have lost multiple players on the defensive front who make a difference. I'm talking about Larry Ogunjobi. I'm talking about Trey Hendrickson. Ogunjobi is definitely going to be out. Hendrickson, we'll see if he can clear concussion protocols. For all of those reasons, I am taking the Titans at home, coming off the bye as a 3.5-point favorite at home.
I can't. And here's why. When it comes down to this playoff ball and you need a score, you're going to go with Ryan Tannehill or you can go with Jackpot Joey. I've seen all the opportunities Ryan Tannehill has had. I've seen opportunities when he's had a healthy Derrick Henry and when he had a few good receivers. Don't forget, Corey Davis is just as good as Julio Jones as his latter end. Julio Jones ain't Julio Jones anymore. A.J. Brown is A.J. Brown. He's a dog as well. So basically, you just swap Corey Davis for Julio Jones. That's the same body type. That's the same kind of receiver. So when it comes down to game time and clutch time, who you going to like? You going to like Ryan Tannehill or you going to like Jackpot Joey? I'm messing with Jackpot Joey all day because I seen with a healthy Tennessee Titans what Ryan Tannehill couldn't do. And that was nothing. Now I'm looking at what Jackpot Joey can do, and I have more confidence going with Jackpot Joey than Ryan Tannehill at that quarterback position.
Ike, I know you love your matchups, but I cannot believe what I'm hearing from you right now, because last week I mentioned how I like the Chiefs to come out of the AFC, and you shook your head and you're like, nah, Titans have this as the 1 seed. And now you're picking the Bengals over the Titans on the road as underdogs. Unbelievable. I know you're big about your matchups though. So I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the matchups, Mark.
Unbelievable. I cannot believe it. Okay, we will go to the next matchup, 49ers and Packers. This is going to be at 8:15 Eastern on Saturday night. And Steelers fans, hear me out here. Courtney, turn the video machine on because this is going to be a breakout video. Pittsburgh Steelers fans, we are San Francisco 49ers fans this weekend. If the 49ers upset the Packers and Aaron Rodgers becomes disgruntled with Green Bay and the front office and the struggles, and what I mean is the postseason struggles that Rodgers and the Packers have had for season after season after season after season. Remember, Rodgers' only Super Bowl title was against your beloved Pittsburgh Steelers, Ike. We are all San Francisco 49ers fans this weekend, Ike, because I want to see Rodgers disgruntled. I want to see him as the Jeopardy host on like an interim basis this offseason, Ike, because if the 49ers upset the Packers, those conversations, it's going to be like adding gasoline on fire.
If Bosa gets cleared, I think the 49ers have a chance. If Bosa don't get cleared, I think it was Bosa and Wagner. If them two guys get cleared and Wagner's healthy, number 54, the inside linebacker, who's the heart and soul for the San Francisco 49ers. If them boys come back this week and they're ready to roll against the Green Bay Packers, they will beat the Green Bay Packers. If they're not ready this week, they're not going to beat the Green Bay Packers. But I'm looking at the San Francisco 49ers just as well as I'm looking at the Cincinnati Bengals. Them two teams are my underdogs, and the reason why is they're playing bully ball. And I don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo, but I do put all my trust in Deebo Samuels. I do put a lot of my trust in the Bosa, and I'll put my trust in Kyle Shanahan and his attitude and his savviness and his dogness when it comes down to that. The Green Bay Packers is more of a finesse team, So we're going to see when the referees, again, leave their whistles in their locker room and they say, man, don't look at me for no holding call. Don't look at me for no hit below the knees. Don't look at me for nothing. We left everything. We're going back to the old school. It's pitch up tackle. So y'all got to get it how y'all live. This is the grass jungle in the NFL. Get it how you live in the playoffs. We will see if the Green Bay Packers have that mentality or can match the physicality of the 49ers.
Nick Bosa was one of 2 players absent from Tuesday's practice because of a concussion he suffered late in the second quarter of the 49ers wild card win, Ike. So we'll see what happens there. Only one of 2 players absent. The other player didn't participate was defensive lineman Jordan Willis, and that's because of an ankle injury, Ike. But again, this is the game from a Steelers standpoint I am watching the closest. Now, the Packers just barely beat the 49ers earlier this season. They won 30-28, and it took a 51-yard field goal from Mason Crosby to get the win. And I'm going to put this out into the world, Ike. Mason Crosby's been an incredible kicker for the Packers for years. He has struggled this season. He has missed more than he ever really has as a kicker. And so if it comes down to a late kick that he needs to make, I'm just floating it out there. I'm just floating it out there from what I've seen this season. And despite all this, the Packers are still the number 1 seed. Now, another storyline I'm looking at is these 2 head coaches, Matt LaFleur and Kyle Shanahan. They spent some time together in Washington from 2010 to 2013 and then in Atlanta in 2015 and 2016. But they were a little bit salty earlier this season because I know the 49ers called about the availability of Rodgers. Both of them tried to downplay it, but the camera tells all. And after that game, the way that they shook hands at midfield, Ike, that coaching rivalry, 2 guys who used to be very, very good friends, it was not a very genuine embrace after the game earlier this season. Something I've got my eye on come Saturday night. I cannot wait if you can't tell. I'm fired up.
Whoever gets the first pick in this ball game will win this ball game. That's my prediction.
One other thing, too, with this game, your guy Deebo Samuel, he's invented a new position. not a wide receiver, not a running back. He is now a wide back. 8 rushing touchdowns during the regular season. And if you look at from week 10 and on, he's gotten more targets in every single game except one from handoffs compared to targets as a receiver. I love how the 49ers are utilizing Deebo Samuel. And I know that he coined the phrase wide back, but really, Cordarrelle Patterson with the Atlanta Falcons and Arthur Smith really started to do this. I don't know if they took a page from Arthur Smith for what they were doing with Cordarrelle Patterson for the first time in Patterson's career. And he's been to the Pro Bowl as a return man many times. It's the first time in Patterson's career he's had more than 1,000 yards from the line of scrimmage. And so I think the 49ers are utilizing Samuel in the same way. And they might have started a new position, a new trend in the NFL. The wide back position, I love it.
Yeah. I mean, you just messed my head up with that one. I like that. I'm going to start saying that as well. So go ahead and let your boy borrow that right quick.
One other thing, too, which I think will be in Green Bay's favor. The weather at Lambeau Field, Ike, on Sunday. It's going to be a high of 15 degrees by the time we get into, Saturday night. By the time we get into Saturday night, too, it's going to be awfully chilly there. So that home field advantage in the cold, you always mention playing in the cold, I think goes in Green Bay's favor. You mentioned that you'll pick the 49ers if they're fully healthy. I am going to pick the Packers to win this game, but again, I've got my fingers crossed. I'm putting all the good juju out there. Let's get a 49ers upset. Let's get a disgruntled Aaron Rodgers. Can get him out of the NFC North Division and bring him to Pittsburgh, Ike.
I'm going to stick with the 49ers. Don't forget, it's cold in that Bay Area. It's a different kind of cold. Like I tell people who come from Pittsburgh, and they was like, what's the temperature down in Florida? I'm like, man, it's at about 43. They was like, oh, man, it's good. Till they actually get down here and they see that wind biting, they're like, oh, man, it is a different kind of cold. I said, man, I'm trying to tell y'all, it's a different kind of cold in that Bay Area. I've been to that Bay Area a few times. Even though the temperature might say 35 to 40 degrees, it's still just as cold as it is in Green Bay Packers sitting over there in Wisconsin.
All right, Ike, we'll get to Sunday's matchups here in just a second. And we've got Rams and Bucks. So this is going to be at 3 o'clock Eastern time Sunday afternoon on NBC. Bucks are a 3-point favorite. Now, I know these two teams played all the way back in September, and the Rams took care of business at SoFi Stadium, a 34-24 game. Wasn't as close as that score indicates, but this was a much different matchup considering like the Rams didn't have Von Miller or OBJ. Also, the Bucks played without Jason Pierre-Paul, without Antonio Brown. That was the game Rob Gronkowski had to leave with a fractured rib injury. Jamel Dean also left with a knee injury in that game for the Buccaneers. So much different between now and when these two teams played in September. The key to me, Ike, is going back to injuries, the status for the Bucks offensive line. Tristan Wirfs, one of the tackles, the first Bucks lineman ever to earn All-Pro status, and then center Ryan Jensen as well. A pair of Pro Bowlers who both have ankle sprains that they suffered in the Buccaneers' win in the wild card round over the Eagles. Right. That's kind of the looming question mark that I have ahead of this game between Rams and Bucks.
Oh man, this is my tough one between the Rams and the Bucks, because the Rams can get after Tom Brady, and that's exactly what they did the first time. Then Aaron Donald said, he respects Tom Brady a lot, but it's time for a new era. So they're feeling real confident over there with the Rams. It's just what Matthew Stafford I'm going to get. I know what I'm going to get with Tom Brady. I know exactly who I'm going to get with Tom Brady. But I'm going to go against the grain on this one. I'm going to rock with the LA Rams. I'm going to go with the LA Rams on this one because I'm looking at their defense. I'm looking at Vaughn. I'm looking at Aaron. I'm looking at their secondary. I'm looking at how much pressure they're going to put on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm just looking at the matchup-wise. And even though playoff Lenny will be back, Vaughn was unbelievable last week, the running back against the Philadelphia Eagles. And all-time Brady needs some time. He don't need a big-name receiver at all. On this one, man, I'm gonna go I'm going to go with the Rams. OBJ, he's going to get more one-on-one matchups. Cooper Kupp and company, you know, Cooper Kupp, he's doing his thing. Jefferson, he has been a highlight for the LA Rams. And I think now, you know, Sean McVay, he gets it now, and he got exactly what he wants. This is just going to be on Matthew Stafford. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to roll with.
Like, could this be Tom Brady's last game?
No.
You think he's coming back in 2022 regardless?
Yeah, 100%. I think next year will be his last year. I think he's saying, okay, I won it last year. I'm going to try to win it this year. If I don't win it this year, I'm going to give one more opportunity, then I'm going to hang it up.
Okay. No, the reason I ask is, like, he's 44 years old, which obviously everyone knows, but during the regular season, led the NFL in passing yards, had more than 5,300, led the league in touchdown passes as well with 43. I'm going to go with the Bucs, Ike, and maybe this is because I picked the Eagles to upset, or at least to cover, the 8.5-point spread in the wild card round, and I absolutely got burned. Sunday's going to be the first time that the Buccaneers have played back-to-back home games in the playoffs since 1979. So it's been a long time since the Buccaneers have done that, hosted back-to-back home playoff games. I'm going to go with the Bucs. And again, I think that is also, and I'm going to put this out there, contingent upon watch the injury report with Tristan Wirfs and Ryan Jensen. If those two guys don't play, I think that's a definite advantage for the Los Angeles Rams, Ike.
Yeah, I'm going to LA Rams.
Okay. Final matchup, Bills and Chiefs. And this to me might be the best actual game because it's, other than Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, who wants to have supremacy of the league between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen? And the big question I have is, can the Chiefs defense stop Josh Allen? Had 300 passing yards and 66 rushing touchdowns in the win, the blowout win in the wild card round against the New England Patriots, a Patriots defense that allowed fewer than 18 points per game. It wasn't even close. Now, remember, the Bills and the Chiefs played earlier this season as well, all the way back in week 5 on October the 10th. The Bills won that one 38-28. And the Bills have been building for this, trying to figure out how to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. You get a rubber match as well in the playoffs now, Ike. I cannot wait to watch this one. And of all the games I'm most excited to watch, just purely in terms of football, it's this matchup on Sunday night.
This is another tough one, Mark. Golly.
Yep. Chiefs are a 2.5-point favorite, Ike. I'm with you. I turn things over to you because I want to see what you have to say in terms of a pick, because I could be swayed either way.
I'm going to go with the Buffalo. And here's why I'm going to
Buffalo Bills. Sorry, go ahead, Ike.
The reason why I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills because they added a new dimension to the offense, and that's letting Josh Allen run the ball. So now it's truly 11 on 11. Let alone Gabe Davis, Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, who's their star receiver?
Stephon Diggs.
Like they just got the juice. So they're really letting, and coach and the OC really telling Josh, hey, if you don't see nothing, run it. You're 6'5", you're 240, run the ball. Get out of bounds if you need to, slide if you need to. And if you feel like it's a point in time in the game where you think you got to run a DB over, run his ass over. and that's what I think that's going to get the Buffalo Bills, because that's what happened against the New England Patriots. Josh Allen got that team fired up by running the ball. And from that point on, it was just like a no-brainer. It's like, okay, yeah, Patrick Mahomes, he can move. He has weapons. He had Hardman. He got Cheetah. He got some studs over it. Travis Kelce, he got some studs. But he's not trying to run a DB over. He's trying to scramble to run to throw the football. Can he run? Yes. It's a different kind of attitude when you see Josh Allen running the football. And then you got Singletary. Singletary, little Mighty Mouse, he's waking up. He's talking smack to a lot of defensive linemen. He's talking smack to a lot of linebackers. He got that y'all got me effed up mentality. Just because I'm small, y'all think I ain't built like that. You saw that against the Patriots. So, yes, I'm rocking with the Buffalo Bills on this one. And we ain't even talking about hide and seek. If you throw the ball anywhere in this area code, hide and seek, we'll Peter Pan you and pick that thing off.
I really wish Tre'Davious White, the Bills cornerback, were healthy in this game. A Pro Bowl, all-pro corner who's out for the rest of the season. Ike, the Chiefs have made some great adjustments, though, defensively since week 6, tops in the league in points per game. And offensively, they've cut down on the turnovers, and they've adjusted to the 2 high safeties. So one thing I wanted to ask you before I make my pick, Ike, is from a defensive standpoint, we saw what Bucs defensive coordinator Todd Bowles did in last year's Super Bowl to slow down this Chiefs offense. It seems like the Chiefs have adjusted and know what to do now when facing 2 high safeties.
Right.
Other than, I mean, I think I know where you're going to go with this in terms of trying to keep Mahomes in the pocket, but what would you do to try to slow down this Chiefs offense?
I don't think the Buffalo Bills ain't going to try to slow him down. I think the Buffalo Bills is cool with a shootout because of Josh Allen. That's exactly how I feel. I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers had to have a different kind of ingredient game plan because of their quarterback situation. But with the Buffalo Bills, like, okay, we can go touchdown for touchdown. Y'all got Patrick Mahomes. We got Josh Allen. So I think the defensive plan, if I'm a defensive coordinator, yeah, I'm going to try to contain him, but I ain't really tripping because I know what I got on the other side, and his name is Josh Allen.
All right, Ike, I'm going to go with the Chiefs because they are my Super Bowl pick. So I'm going to roll with them until they at least fall off. They've been much, much better early on in the season. And I remember when we were talking earlier season, it's like, are the Chiefs even going to make the playoffs? They've been much better since then. And I think they figured things out. 42 points against a Pittsburgh Steelers defense that, look, Steelers defense isn't perfect, but it's a pretty stout defense.
I mean,
42 points.
Don't forget, they had a pick and they had a fumble recovery to the touchdown. So the Pittsburgh Steelers offense didn't give them any help whatsoever.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs in this one. It's pretty much a coin flip game. 2.5 points.
Give Josh Allen a defensive touchdown and a pick, they're going to run the scoreboard up. That's what I do know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ike, that's a full podcast. That is a full episode. I want to give a shout out to you. You're the absolute best. Your analysis, spot on. Again, a psychic, I would argue as well. I want to thank the Bleav Podcast Network for the opportunity to host the Bleav in Steelers podcast. Ike, a lot of great other shows on the Bleav Podcast Network as well. So go and check out the other shows on the Bleav Podcast Network. I want to thank the folks over at Brinks TV, our producers, led by John Brinkus, Courtney Vargas, Herbert Diaz. They make us look fancy, Ike. They make this show look good for you, the viewers of the Bleav in Steelers podcast. Today's sponsor, betonline.ag. And I want to thank the listeners and the viewers of the Bleav in Steelers podcast, Ike. We're nearly to 1,000 subscribers. We're going to get there before the Super Bowl as well. So we are almost there. The growth we've seen on this show and people, continuing the conversation in the comments, we're going to bring that more and more into the show in the coming weeks. Keep rocking with us too, Ike, because throughout the duration of the playoffs, I know Pittsburgh's no longer in it, but we're going to continue to cover the playoffs as they continue on. And it all starts this weekend in the divisional round too. I'm really, really excited because Steelers are going to have a lot of changes between now and the start of the 2022 season, but we're going to get some really, really good football because the wild card round, a lot of the matchups kind of got out of hand. We're really, really going to see the best of the best, and it starts on Saturday this weekend.